Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Its power to create problems has certainly been confirmed.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all doing well today. Now, do you know the real reason why Darth Vader didn't like the Death Star? With this time period now being explored in live action, I think it's the right time to brush up on our Star Wars knowledge a little bit. In today's video, we'll be going over the real reason Darth Vader didn't like the Death Star, whilst at the same time getting a glimpse into Vader and Tarkin's relationship, something we haven't seen too much of in live action to date. The basis of this video comes from the Darth Vader Annual 2, which was released in 2018 by Marvel Comics. We're taking things back to 18 BBY, or 1 year after Revenge of the Sith. The gap between episode 3 and 4 is a big one, which spans 19 years in total, and there's a lot that happened in this time, some of which we're finally starting to see play out in live action, with Rogue One, the Kenobi show and now Andor. 1 year on from the prequel trilogy and the Empire seems to be pretty much in the same shape as we meet them in A New Hope. The Death Star is still under construction as we saw in Revenge of the Sith, and Darth Vader in this moment is still trying to establish his place within the newly formed Empire. At this moment in time, Darth Vader has very little to stay alive for. Over the years to follow, he'll search for a way to bring back Padme, which will ultimately end in failure. The only other real reason at this point is to purely be Darth Vader, the Emperor's powerful enforcer. However, he isn't the only one at Palpatine's side. Governor Moff Tarkin, or Grand Moff Tarkin as we know him by, is also there as well. With most of the Jedi already gone, Vader found himself being needed less and less, and if Tarkin's plans had succeeded, it could well have put the final nail in Vader's coffin. The Emperor had many secret projects, so secret that even Darth Vader himself, with the title of Supreme Commander, wasn't aware of. Vader began to take an interest into certain secret projects that he had heard of, such as Project Stardust. Okay people, now settle in, this is where the juice begins. Project Stardust was the name given to the Death Star whilst it was under development by Galen Erso, Jyn Erso's father, who was an Imperial scientist, although against his will, which we see in Rogue One. Vader travels to the Imperial security complex on Scarif. Inside the data vault, he aims to learn more about this Project Stardust, which is under the Tarkin initiative. Almost like he was alerted, Tarkin promptly lands on Scarif himself just after Vader did, and enters the Imperial security complex on his way to the data vault, telling an Imperial officer who asked the reason for his visit that he simply had a meeting to attend. So it's kinda like he knew Vader was already there. Upon approaching the vault, an Imperial officer informs Tarkin that the vault is currently occupied, to which Tarkin replies to the officer, telling him yet again to open it. Inside the vault, he finds Darth Vader standing there, examining a hologram of what the Death Star should look like once it's completed. Tarkin sternly tells Lord Vader that his presence inside the vault is unauthorized, for Vader to then reveal his intention to learn more about the secret Project Stardust. Vader tells Tarkin that the Force is all the authorization he needs. Things become increasingly heated between the two when Tarkin proceeds to tell Vader to stand down, telling him that is a command, as though Tarkin's title holds superiority over Vader's. Vader tells Tarkin that he is not his beast to command. At this moment, Vader imagines plunging his lightsaber through Tarkin in a pure fit of rage. Unbeknown to Vader, his role within the Empire has changed, with Tarkin telling him the Emperor has taken a new viewpoint on Vader's position, and he is now under command of Tarkin, and he is to do what Tarkin sees fit. Now at this point, Tarkin can feel Vader's anger bubbling, asking Vader what the Emperor would think if Vader was to act on his thoughts. Tarkin reaches for his holoprojector for a hologram of Palpatine to appear, telling Vader he doesn't recall sending him to Scarif, and remarking how interesting it is. Now, Palpatine held suspicions over Vader, not truly believing he had the best interests of the Empire in mind, whilst also questioning if Anakin Skywalker was truly dead, something we saw more of in episode 6 of the Kenobi show. Vader is quick to apologise, telling the Emperor he only sought to study the ways in which the Empire will extend its rule over the galaxy. Palpatine seems to accept this answer and comes to the conclusion that it may now be time to involve Vader in the project itself. He informs Lord Vader that he will now serve Tarkin's needs going forward, and that there have been instances of sabotage when it comes to the development of Project Stardust. Palpatine sends Vader on a mission to Geonosis with the order of uncovering a treachery that has already caused the project significant disruption. He is being sent to root it out and destroy whoever or whatever it is. As he leaves, the Emperor tells Vader that Tarkin now has full authority over him, and that if he disappoints Tarkin, he is also disappointing the Emperor. After leaving Scarif, Vader briefly looks at the construction of the Death Star before leaving on his mission to Geonosis. Anyway, to cut a long story short, Vader travels to Geonosis at this point and finds what he believed to be the Saboteurs, which were a group of rogue Geonosians, the bug creatures led by a rogue queen, unsanctioned breeding and the rest of it. This is where things really heat up now with Vader and Tarkin. Vader returns to the Carrion Spike, which is Tarkin's ship.
Uncovered and dealt with, Governor.
How do you know you caught the Saboteurs,
We found evidence in the brood chamber they sent an egg case to an Imperial scientist, in the hopes he would be sympathetic to their cause. He was not complicit in their treachery. Slices confirmed that the rogue Geonosian hive installed corrupted tech into production, ensuring accidents. We also located detonate charges whose accelerant configurations matched those found on the rubble that nearly crushed Commander Krennic and myself.
And you said you dealt with them? Dare I ask how?
They were animals, so I slaughtered them like animals.
Good. Is there more, or are we done?
The true scope of your pet project remains hidden for now. But I know.
Do tell.
It is not merely a gun platform or battle station. It is a planet killer.
Well seen, Lord Vader. What gave it away?
The Kyber crystals. They are no mere energy source. Their energy can be directed, made aggressive.
Very insightful, Lord Vader. But you do not seem pleased by this revelation.
I distrust your reliance on this technological aberration. I rely only on the Force, as we all should.
And yet, aren't you a technological aberration, Lord Vader? Your suit is not a product of your occult mysticism. It is design. It is a machine. Ah, I think I see the truth of it. You want to be the only technological aberration. You, the Emperor's most frightening enforcer. Our battle station will rob you of that title, won't it? You will no longer be the most terrifying thing in the galaxy, and if you're not that, then what are you?
Be careful, Governor Tarkin. If you invest too much of yourself in this battle station, it may end up your tomb.
Is that a threat, Lord Vader?
No, Governor. Merely a prediction.
So this just gives you a bit of an insight to the kind of relationship Tarkin and Vader shared. Although in later years the pair grew to have a mutual respect for each other, it also truly reveals Vader's feelings towards the Death Star. In A New Hope and Rogue One, we can see Vader reference the battle station in a negative light, believing it paled in comparison to the power of the Force, something a machine could never wield, and of course it proved to be no match to the Force itself. So that was the one thing that Vader had that the Death Star could never. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Now, if you were in the Emperor's position and you can only pick one, which would you pick, Vader or the Death Star? Of course, without knowing about the design flaw, which would make it easier to blow up. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, it'd be great if you could subscribe so we can experience this crazy Star Wars adventure together, and leave a like on the video if you'd like to support the channel. It is free. So I'll catch you in the next one. May the Force be with you.